Some of you may have heard of the new Noah's Ark movie called The Ark of Darkness that was just released this last week in March in a limited 2-day run at the movie theater. Many of you that may want to see this are going to have to wait to see it on some streaming service or to be able to purchase the DVD at some future point. This is going to be a review on the movie, and here we go. We weren't sure what this film was really about. We knew the theme was Noah's Ark, but we weren't sure if it was a live action film with the animals and Noah or a documentary. Didn't even think about that. And it is. It's a documentary where there is a number of PhDs from Liberty University and Answers in Genesis, notables that you may or may not recognize, such as Randall Price and Carl Werner. Now, this was produced by Sevenfold Films and Genesis Apologetics. It's approximately 2 hours long, and here's some of the things that was in the movie. Now, the impression going in again was that I wasn't sure what it was going to be about, but it is really a documentary, a very well put together documentary. But be prepared, okay? There's a lot of talking heads and there's a lot of information, but it's bathed in beautiful graphics. And you wouldn't think that for $500,000 that those graphics could have been supported with that low a budget. Topics include the size of the ark. How did they fit all the animals? How many animals were there? What was how does the ark compare to other boats that have been created through the years, including one super large wood boat that was nearly the ark's size at a little over 400 feet. There are unique insights into geology, looking through the lens of creationism, meaning that from a worldwide flood perspective, you look at the strata and you see it in a different light. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong in getting another perspective when we examine the evidence, and this is one way to do it. Also, too, the insights that I got out of it. Let me explain what my takeaway was. Local flood versus worldwide flood. I thought this was very clever. If in fact that the flood of Noah was nothing more than a localized flood, a couple of things wouldn't have happened. Number one, the animals and Noah would have just left the area temporarily while this flood took place, and they would have come back. Why build an entire boat, have his family get on, and a ton of animals just to ward off a local flood? And think about this for a second. If it was a local flood, how far does the water get up there before it starts to spill over into all the lands? The water gets up there. You can't only go so far with the water before it has to be a global flood if it's going to, again, be in a situation where you have to build a boat and get the animals and yourself on it. So there was a lot of really great arguments. A lot of questions that people ask were answered, and I really do recommend it. Now, it did address the dinosaurs, which people ask all the time, and the pre-flood environment. What was that like? What kind of impact did it have on longevity? People think that 900 years is the average lifespan of the antediluvians was impossible. Wait till you see the scientific evidence that talks about how the de-evolution or the lack of longevity follows a bell curve as opposed to a steep downward statistic or graph, and how that would make more sense that it would go in a bell curve. You're going to have to see the movie to see the whole thing. Well, I will say that it is very comprehensive, the movie. And would I recommend it? Absolutely. It may be over the head of certain age of children, okay? But the graphics keep it going, keeps it interesting. And for those of you that want a history lesson and earth science lesson all combined into one, this would be the film to go see.